Hey everyone, Keith again with CampWorks, and in this video we're going to show you how to set up your online reservations with some of the latest features, with pictures and additional details and pop-up boxes. There are improved methods of your terms and conditions pop-ups and also map features. So without any further ado, let's take a look at how to get this set up. But first, let me show you how it all works and what it looks like. So this is the normal portal page that would show up inside of your website. So let's just do a quick search. I've got it filled out already. So we search for results, and here's our list of results. Now you can see if you have uploaded your map, there's now a list tab and a map tab. So if we click on the map, your map will show up. And now we have features such as, you can see the map is interactive and shows what sites are available. Anything green means it's available, gray is not. Basically black gray means that it does not match their search criteria. Does not mean that it's not necessarily not available, it just means that, hey, they searched for a certain type and the green ones are the ones they can select. Now as soon as they click on one, they get a pop-up that shows the rental space image if you uploaded it and additional details about that site, and as you can see down here, there's descriptions that you can add. So we'll show you how to set that all up. Now of course, if you have decided that you do not want to search or allow your guests to pick their site, you can set up the online reservations differently so that it only shows the types, and we'll cover that a little bit later in this video. But this first portion is all for the ability to select the individual sites. The same thing applies if they're clicking on and selecting a site using the list view. As soon as they click it, it opens up the pop-up box, shows an image of the site, shows the details and additional details at the bottom. And if they select that site, then it fills it in. They put in their number of adults. And another new area of improvement is the terms and conditions. Instead of having a link that takes them out of the web reservation process and into a terms and conditions page in your site, now with the new setup, you can get a pop-up box, which is much cleaner and nicer and keeps them in the reservation process. They can view that and then close out, check that they have read and agree, and then go forward and make the reservation, get the rates, and make the reservation. So that's the basics. I won't go through the rest of the process of making the reservation, but those are the key new features. Now let's look at how to set up all these features in CampWorks. The maps were already covered under a previous video, so check out the other video on setting up your maps, and then you click the upload button in the upper right hand corner to upload your map data. For the rest of the features, let's start with the terms and conditions. So we go into online reservations, and in online reservations there is a text block called terms and conditions. And this is where you would paste your information into this box, and then this text box, and then you hit OK. That will upload it to the online reservations and make it live. If you have anything in this text block, then this one is no longer used. So it doesn't matter if anything is in there, if you leave what you used to have, but that is overridden by the new method, which is the pop-up box versus a link to a different page on your website. To enable the pop-up for when a guest clicks on a rental space, this checkbox needs to be checked. Show rental space image details pop-up. Without it, then there's no pop-up when they select the space. It just puts the number in the bottom of the form and they continue making the reservation. When this is checked, then the pop-up with the image and the additional details will show up. So make sure this is checked when you're ready to turn on the additional details and pop-up box. To fill in the information that goes into that additional details and pop-up box, you will need to go into Setup and Rental Spaces. And here is where you can add the photo, make sure your max number of people is set, which is another new feature. and also put in the additional details that you want shown on the website. So this would show up at the bottom of that pop-up box, and of course the image is at the top, and then the rest of the information is pulled from this screen as it always has been in the past. Let's talk about inserting images. You will have to do a little bit of work when it comes to the images. First of all, remember now these are marketing images. These are going to be shown on your website. You want a nice quality of image, meaning a clean site. You also take the picture at a good time when it is nice and green or lush and is a nice marketing picture. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you have a good view. Don't get too close to the site so the guest cannot see. The guest wants to see the surroundings of the site as well, typically. So make sure you stand back a little bit to take enough of a picture that they can take in the surroundings to see where they would be parked. Also, we recommend you could take these with your phone. That is fine. If you set the image format to be 4:3, most phones have an image setting that you can set, and we go into the settings, set that to be at a 4:3 format, and then take the pictures in landscape mode. Is what we would recommend, and that will make it easier for the next step, which you will have to resize these images. The images need to be 400 by 300, so 400 wide by 300 tall, and so next we'll go into how to edit those images. To edit site photos, you can find your images put them all in your folder. I recommend having a second folder that has the resized and final values, but let's start with just opening an image. If you just hit edit, it should put it into edit mode, in this case with the default editor, which is Paint, and you can click resize, set it to pixels, change this value to 400, and now you have a 400 by 300 image. And now we can save that image into a separate folder. So you can get the gist of that. You can also, if you prefer, use the Paint 3D. I do the same image and then I would hit Open With and select Paint 3D. In Paint 3D then, we don't care what the actual image looks like here, but let's go to Canvas. And then once again, change it to 400. It's the wider dimension by 300. Now we have our image resized. There it is at full size. Okay, and then go to Menu, Save As, and put it in the folder that you want to put it in. Okay, so that's how you would edit the images. So there is a little bit of work to prepare your images and get your images resized and saved, and then once you have your images resized, then you just, if you have a photo already here, hit Remove Photo, and then hit Insert Photo to select Remove Photo, yes, Insert Photo, and then you would select your photo wherever it is and put it in. Okay. So that's all there is to it, and when you insert the photo, that will upload it to the website. If you have online reservations set up to only show rental spaces by type and not allow guests to select individual sites, you can still make use of the new images features. So let's do a search to show how this would work. I have a couple different types set up with images, so now you can see there's a new image folder, or I'm sorry, new image column on the grid. I only set these two up for an example. Now if a guest clicks on the image, it will show a higher resolution image. So there's a low res and a high res version. And same thing on this one. This site requires a 2-night stay, which is another setup feature. But you get the gist of how that works, so you can certainly add images in even if your using only the reserve by type feature in online reservations. Let's look at how to set up the online type images. So we go into Setup. This time we're going to go into Software Options and go to the Rental Types tab. For each of your subtypes, you can set the image. So since guests are only able to reserve by type, we now then for each of these can set a low-res image and a high-res image. So the low-res image is the same 300 by 400, and the high-res this time is 1174 by 880. So you will have to edit your low-res and your high-res photos to those dimensions, just like we showed earlier in this video. But you can then hit save on that to save each image for each of the different types. And so for each of your subtypes, you can have a image selected. So that is pretty much all there is to it. Once you hit save, it uploads those photos to our server, and essentially then it will be available online and will show online for guests as soon as you upload those photos, and have the feature turned on in online reservations to show this detail. So even for the this type of setup, it needs to have that feature turned on. We hope you see how easy it is to have great looking online reservations, and that everyone will take advantage of these new features. If, of course, as normal, if you have any questions or problems, get in touch with us and we would be happy to help you out.